Ho, ho, ho. Thank you for joining us on the next episode of Small Business Chat. We're a couple weeks away from Christmas, so this week's a great week to talk about, yet again, trademark disputes. We got some things from Adidas suing a company called Aviator Nation for their stripes. Joins me today is Matt, as always. How's it going?
Hey, man, it's going awesome. And man, the neighborhood I grew up in, you got to be careful. You yell ho ho ho. Someone, someone
Heads
think
might
you're talking
turn.
about their lady, man, and they pop a cap in you. But anyways, I'm doing great.
Or
How
they
you
might turn
doing?
around and give you a good time. You never know.
Yeah, yeah, we're just doing Christmas. I'm sorry, I shouldn't take it away and all that sort of stuff. I'm doing great. How you doing?
Doing good, doing great. Kind of rainy and stormy today outside, kind of gloom and doom. Some of those days I kind of like though. Do you ever like just rain days where you're just like, oh, I can just stay inside and it's a good excuse?
Yeah, because I have a dog that likes to throw the ball obsessively, or not. He doesn't throw the ball. That'd be odd. I throw the ball for him obsessively,
Hmm.
and so it's actually nice when he can just actually stay inside and he just sleeps by me, so I can actually get some work done. And so I know you like it. But yeah, these days it's a little bit rough getting to work this morning because it was just
I
pouring down.
I've Yeah, I've yet to have that experience with a dog yet because my dog's really small and we haven't really got to take her outside. For some reason, my neighborhood is infested with fleas and my dog is very prone to getting fleas. Like as soon as we got her, she was finally old enough for us to go ahead and take her outside. Day one, she went in the grass, got fleas immediately. And then we had to spend like a whole month of like sanitizing our house and getting everything, all the fleas out. And then we tried again, fleas again. We tried everything, flea collars, flea pills, and so we're just like, yeah, it's not worth it.
So
So
first, for a large from a large dog perspective owner, if you have a small dog, that means you have a cat. Second, they have flea protection. Does the puppy have flea protection? You guys got to get around
we do.
like,
We've tried giving her flea protection, but apparently it just doesn't work.
really? All
Yeah.
right, well, yeah, okay,
Yeah, it's
well,
heavy into the grass, but
good
yeah.
luck with that.
So yeah, let's cut into today's topic at hand here. Again, aviators, not aviators. Adidas is suing Aviator Nation for their stripes. So apparently Adidas thinks that, I mean, from Adidas stripes, it's like slanted, right? And then Aviator stripes are just flat, goes across the chest, kind of like Venom's logo. Kind of if you've ever know who Venom is from Spider-Man. You know, Venom is from Spider-Man, don't you?
Yeah, I just don't know he had a logo.
Well, I
What's
mean,
he
he's,
selling?
well, I mean, even Spider-Man has a logo, but
Okay, I got you.
the print symbol that he's got on his chest. It
Okay.
also
Oh,
looks
I think
like
I know
the
what you're talking
same.
about because it goes out on either side. Yeah, 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 you're right. I see it.
It
Yeah.
appears to me to be the same design that if you ever seen the '70s show, Michael Kelso always wore those jackets. In that show. He was very popular for that. But yeah, let's talk about it. First, one of the things I kind of want to dive into a little bit is Adidas' background with suing companies. One of their very first claims or the times they've sued somebody is for H&M. In 1997, Adidas sued H&M for a two-stripe design on its apparel, claiming it created consumer confusion. And the outcome was that Adidas actually won the case, establishing the principle that even two stripes could infringe, even though Adidas has the trademark three, claiming it created customer confusion. And they won it because it also, I guess, it depended on the context of the judgment, but they did win their very first case against S&M. The next one was versus Marca and Mode. Stop me if you remember any of these companies, because I don't. In the European Court of Justice, Adidas faced Marca Mode, a company using a similar striped pattern. The court ruled in favor of Adidas once again, affirming the strength of its trademark and its distinctive association with the brand. The next one was for Payless Shoe Source in 2008. So Adidas took a 8 year break from suing people. Adidas won a $305 million verdict against Payless Shoe
Woo!
Source for selling shoes with two and four stripes, with the court deemed similar enough to cause confusion. This was one of the largest ever trademark settlements of all time. 305
Yeah. Oh,
million.
yeah, that's big for trademarks.
And here's the two crazy ones next coming up. Forever 21 and Puma. Adidas filed multiple suits against fast fashion brands like Forever 21 and sportswear rivals like Puma for its use of its stripe patterns. It claimed infringed on its trademarks. The outcome was some of the cases were settled out. with while others reinforce Adidas' dominance over stripe design. So it sounds like they won that one, or they kind of just converged a little bit and came over it. Then Tesla also was the next one, 2019. Adidas opposed Tesla's attempt to trademark a three-line logo for its Model 3 vehicles, arguing it was too similar to its own design. And then Tesla was forced to revise its own logo. Did you know that?
No. So it seems silly to me because I mean Adidas makes shoes and clothing and Tesla, and my guess would be is because Tesla, you'll probably get like a shirt or something like that that says Tesla or something like that, the Model 3 logo. But I mean, I would not think that there would be any, but what often happens is, someone comes in and barks. Like we used to see this with Major League Baseball's counsel all the time, right? Back in the day. And like they would just come up with, in my opinion, the most absurd stuff you've ever seen. It wasn't Major League Baseball per se, it was their outside law firm at the time that I was dealing with them. And they would literally, I can remember one time they sent like a cease and desist letter to one of our clients. It was like literally their client was obviously the Colorado Rockies,
Mhm.
and I can't remember what our client was, but it was like something like The Rock or something like that for like I don't even know, like for t-shirts or something. And their leap of logic was, well, we're known as the Colorado Rockies, and our mascot, even though we don't have that trademark name, is known as Rocky. And so it's similar to your rock, line of clothes. And you're just like, how many leaps of logic did you just get to get this? But then at the end of the day, they would settle for almost like, okay, well, just basically, do this and basically just make one little change or a wisp of a line on something, and we'll be okay. And I always chalk that up to as they had a budget for the law firm and they had to spend it for their client, and that's why you got these cease and desist letters. I mean, over the years with that law firm, I probably got because at the time we were doing so much work for just with thousands of trademark applications filed a year, and I would probably get and have negotiations with them probably 4 or 5 times a year. And it was always the same. You would just look at the letter and you'd be like, seriously? All right, let's settle this real quick. But I sometimes wonder if that's, when they start, pushing their brand around, if it's the law firm using their budget that they have to, because otherwise it just goes, yeah, we'll give you $1 million budget to enforce our, and well, you got to bill against something, right? Find somebody that's infringing, or if it's literally something they were concerned with, and because I've got famous stories about law firms looking for trouble so they can bill their client and such. But anyways, not ripping on any law firm. I don't know the law firms involved or anything like that. So, we'll see. But what do we got with our most recent, issue here for, Adidas versus whatever it is? Because as I'm sitting here, I'm staring at my Asics going, huh, they actually have black stripes, vertical stripes on them. Here, take a look. Wait, I don't know if I can do this. See? To
That's
me,
Reebok, isn't
those
it?
look more like a problem for Adidas. But Asics is a big
Right,
company, but so is Tesla. But you see, they actually have the sort of the slanted stripes.
right, right.
Yeah, Ugh. I was a
But
contortionist in
apparently,
my
I
earlier
guess,
life.
and like I said, for me, I mean, I don't really see like it's Adidas is going vertical, or I guess slanted vertical, like
Yeah, it's almost like on
going
the
away.
45, slanting vertical, right?
Right, right, and then Aviator Nation has it just going across the chest. I mean, I've actually somewhat seen that design quite a bit on shirts.
Well,
So
and the
I
question,
don't.
so what we can for the general business person, if any happen to listen to this, what you're dealing with here is a situation where trademarks don't just theoretically protect the actual trademark itself. It protects within number one a zone of expansion to goods and services. So in other words, if I had it for t-shirts, it'd be logical that I can enforce my trademark against someone who's making it for pants or belts or something. But that's the goods and services component of it. But also, when you look at a trademark, and this is the really the height of subjectivity that we deal with, unfortunately, in trademark law, is the look and feel of that trademark going to make a consumer confused? And they go,
And
oh, well, that must be an Adidas product because of these lines. And, I think that when you look back, like, okay, if you have two black slanted lines on a shoe, okay, I think I see Adidas argument, like, I'm like, okay, because you just add a third, you drop a third off or whatever. But, and even, okay, if you possibly, personally, I don't remember ever seeing Adidas lines in color. Now, I'm sure that their attorneys can whip out 27, oh yeah, we use it in color all the time. I've seen Adidas since I was a kid. I can remember they made great tennis shoes back in the 70s because I'm
Mhm.
old. But anyways, and then they sort of disappeared like an old customer of ours, LA Gear for a while, but then they've come roaring back in recent years. And like I'm like, okay, I get you on the what are we saying? Like sort of the 45 degree. They're probably not 45. They probably know exactly what angle they are. But they're like a 45-degree angle, from top to bottom. I can't remember if they slant front to back or back to front. But but then to start going to completely horizontal lines, and now in this case, horizontal lines that everyone admits there's not three, there's five, they're multicolored. It's not it's a rainbow. I mean, is Adidas literally getting to the point that they're going to start suing people for having rainbows on their brands? Because technically, rainbows are comprised of lines, and that's really what they're saying here. And when you listen to the settlement discussions and negotiation, I think what's happening is this brand initially bowed to them because there's like, listen, I don't really have that much money back in 2010, 2011, and they said, listen, I just won't make any more of my California lifestyle stuff, with three lines. And he hasn't. He's lived up to that. And then now they're coming back and saying, well, you're making it with five lines, but really three are more prominent. It's a rainbow. Of course they're more prominent because, indigo and violet don't really pop out as much as yellow and red. It's a
Right.
rainbow. So again, the only people that win in these litigation things are the big law firms and all that sort of stuff. Other than that, the brands just have to spend a bunch of money. But I'll just tell you, again, you know, I've seen and helped people make about, I've been part of, hundreds of thousands of brands. And I just, if I were sitting on this jury, I'm sorry, I'm just a little spoiler. Frick no. Are you kidding me? Frick no. There's no expansion of this, and all that sort of stuff. And I would actually tell Adidas, the thing you're worried about is if someone's actually going to infringe on it. I think someone's taken you, possibly their lawyers or something like that, or saying, "Oh, this could be a potential problem." Really? Where's your survey evidence? Where's your focus group that says, "Oh, we were confused. We bought their stuff that looks like a rainbow over Adidas stuff, and we thought it was Adidas stuff. Doesn't look like freaking Adidas stuff. This is absurd. This is just someone just. I'm sorry. Let me stop.
So you do feel Adidas is overreaching here, it sounds like.
Yeah, do you think that's what? Thank you for drawing that conclusion. I think
No,
just a
I
little.
agree with you. I would agree with you a lot. I think it does have to do with, I think you were just talking about just law firm trying to get paid
Yeah.
for just
And
doing things
there
like
are two
this.
law firms mentioned in it, and I'll just give them a props out. I have a friend that used to work at Perkins Coie or whatever, and I think and I actually had a trademark case once against them. I just can't remember what the case was. It was more than a decade ago. And then Kilpatrick Stockton, back when I was a personal injury attorney, we used to, butt heads over because they were defense lawyers and I was on the plaintiff side at the time. And both law firms are fantastic law firms, great lawyers in them, and all that sort of stuff. So I mean no disrespect to them per se. I just personally, when I'm just looking at this, going, I don't know if this was Adidas that went to their law firms and say go after this guy again, or if the law firms went to Adidas and were like, you need to enforce this. But folks, it's a rainbow. It's a rainbow versus versus the Adidas stripe. And man, I agree. Adidas got a very recognizable brand on those 45-degree angle slants or stripes or whatever. Whatever. But I'm sitting here wearing a pair of shoes. I'm like, if they came after Asics, I would be like, okay, I would get that more than them going after this guy in California. It's like Asics
Right.
just basically crossed the two lines. I don't think they should have. For all you know, Asics their brand may pre-exist Adidas. I don't know how old Asics logo is. But anyways, yeah, I think this is, I don't know. I know we've sort of, you always ask the question, what do you think? Infringement, not infringement? I'm like, hell no, not on this one.
Yeah, I'm
And
same here as well. Yeah, I'm same page.
yeah, and I think what had happened is they went back to the well because it sounds like they pushed this guy around originally, the CEO, when he didn't have any money, and now he's like, yeah, now I'm making, millions of dollars a year on my brand, and I can afford a law firm to defend this stuff. So let's go. Because one of the nice things I'll say, like, so one of the worst things about lawyers and going to court is it's going to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. You're seeing the light flicker? Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
it's just it's the lights going out in this studio room, but yeah, they're just I don't know. We'll have to get the maintenance man in to actually fix this.
Right.
But yeah,
I
but
can
yeah,
go
it's
through
like
and
it's
look at
like
it.
like Halloween in here, like the lights are going on and off. But so one of the great things is, or one of the horrible things is, if you're a small business, like affording trademark litigation all the way into federal court, it's going to cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars. one of the great things is if you have basically like, millions of dollars in the bank because you're a big brand or whatnot, it's still only going to cost you a couple hundred, three, four, 500,000, but over a couple years. And again, the longer litigation goes on, the more legal expenses it's going to be. But so I think this guy basically is finally like, he's putting his digging his heels into the ground. He's just like, enough. They're not vertical. They're not 45-degree angle. They're not three stripes. It's not two even. And I would be willing to guarantee you when they enforced against that two, I bet they were two vertical or, 45-degree or, whatever angled stripes, maybe also black. Like this guy's got a freaking rainbow on his coat and they're coming back and saying, wow, three of the colors are more prominent. I'm like, the most visible colors are, by the way, do you know what they are? By the way, why are New York City, I'll hint, why are New York City cabs yellow? Do you know this? And why are cabs yellow in general?
Because it's easiest to see, maybe.
Boom. Absolutely
Yeah.
correct. Easiest to spot from a distance is the color yellow. Okay. The easiest actual color or the brightest or the one to visual spectrum for the actual see is red. Okay. That's why you always say bull see red, all that sort of stuff. So the two colors that are most prominent in the visual spectrum for our human eyes to see are yellow and red. Their complaint is that they pop out more than blue. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. It's thousands of years of evolution. It's a bitch. Sorry, that's the way it is. But their complaint is basically how we've evolved to see red and yellow more than we evolved to see blue. And that's effectively what they're trying to hold up against this guy. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm already writing the closing argument here for him. But I mean, that's literally what it is. Hey, I'm sorry that the visual spectrum, Roy G. Biv, remember? Red, orange,
Hmm.
yellow, green, red, Roy, yellow, G, Biv, blue, indigo, violet. Sorry. Just so you're looking at a rainbow and they're literally bitching about a rainbow. Who bitches about rainbows? Rainbows are great.
They're beautiful.
You were at my wedding, a rainbow came out at it. It was awesome. We had a bunch of pictures in front of it. It came out at the last second because it rained at my wedding. Rainbows are beautiful. I
And
think that should be the
what
headline for
rain
this
that
week.
was, man. It was a monsoon.
That was a monsoon, yeah. And this should be Adidas hates rainbows.
The
Oh my
next
God, the
meme.
LGBTQ community is going to come out and start boycotting Adidas because they've now sued this guy for having a rainbow. Oh my God, that's a thing. If you basically say to them, man, I was just trying to be, that would be the PR thing. That'd be the PR play here. Oh my gosh.
Right. We'll see what
I'm just
comes
trying
next
to
with
make an
that then.
LGBTQ jacket, friendly jacket. I guess Adidas doesn't like the LGBTQ community based on this. By the way, I'm not saying that that's
Ooh.
the case. I'm just
Predicting
saying,
the
in my
future, Matt?
opinion, what a great play for the guy that's getting sued by Adidas on this. I would come
Aviator
out and basically be
Nation.
like, what? What? You guys don't like the LGBTQ community? You don't like rainbows? Oh,
Ooh.
if he, yeah,
Aviator
now
Nation, if
their
you're
attorney won't say
listening.
it. I would be absolutely playing that card, be like, and
And we
you'd
don't
watch their
provide legal
sales go.
advice.
I can't give it. You just watch their sales go because you're showing a rainbow, dude. You know.
Right.
Oh, here's the next one. Are they going to sue Skittles? Mhm.
Well, they don't have
That's the
stripes.
rainbow of flavor. Yeah, but they've got the rainbow,
Oh, that's
and
right,
it's
because
made of
the
stripes. You
nipples
remember
kind of look
rainbow
like
of
stripes.
flavor,
Yeah.
Skittles. I think that the candy maker. I don't know if that's Mars or if that's Hershey's. I think it's Mars that makes Skittles. I don't
Hmm.
know, one of the big candy makers. I mean, pretty much anyone with a rainbow is going to have to, watch their back because I know for a fact they put Skittles on a shirt and it tastes the rainbow flavor. It's the same. It's literally the same thing. Again, I'm writing the closing argument right now for this guy because I'm just like, for their attorney, because I'm just like, okay, so what is it? It's a rainbow. Maybe
Aviator
don't go with the
Nation, if you're
PR.
listening.
Yeah, just like I mean, it's they're suing a rainbow. Again, who sues a rainbows? Evidently, people that don't want pots of gold. Oh, yep, yep, there they go. They're offending the Irish too. Maybe I just offended the Irish. Who knows? You know?
And they're going to get sued by Notre Dame next.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
Ah,
Well, I
they're
just wanted
there's
to
Notre Dame.
get
There's no national championship at the end of that rainbow. Come on, we all know that. But let's
right,
not get into
right,
football right now.
right. So yeah, let's go into a little bit of also. I mean, I know we went into the history of Adidas cases, but also want to go into more of just the more significance of a Adidas logo and what like more sort of their historical legacy, and it dates back to 1949 by Adolf "80" Dassler is who was intent to make the stripes. The stripes would reinforce the structure of the shoes, and however this function design quickly evolved into a visual hallmark that set Adidas products apart from competitors. The acquisition of the design, Adidas purchased the three-stripe design from the Finnish brand Karhu in the 1950s for the equivalent of 1,600. I think that's quid. Looks like a backwards E. Never know that.
Yeah, it's
Is
quid.
that
Yeah, so
quid?
it's British.
Quid.
Yeah, this is a
And
British
two
brand.
bottles. So it's the
And two
1,600
bottles of
quid
scotch.
and two bottles of whiskey, I guess. This transaction cemented the stripes as a unique Adidas feature, the symbol of tradition. Over the decades, the stripes have become historical emblem of the company's roots and enduring presence in the sportswear industry. Let me read a little bit more of this. Well, I
If
think
I
that's
may
pretty
just
much
chime
it.
in real
Yeah,
quick.
yeah, go ahead.
So this basically started in the 1940s from a dude named Adolf. That's freaking
Yeah.
daring. I'll
Well,
let you all
didn't
history buffs figure that one out.
wasn't there two brothers that had shoe designers that both wasn't it Puma and Adidas or wait?
You will put these stripes here, and you will do this. Ah, yeah. Yeah.
Matt, are you
Came
part of the
over Europe
Nazi
or
phase?
something, dude. He went from so he went. I'm sorry, there's no relationship to just the same first name, but clearly it sounds like a German who must have been living in England, that did this or something like that. But so they actually were functional design. We could do a whole other episode on functionality and how you can't trademark that. That's not to say that Adidas obviously can't trademark it. It's an homage to a functional component that used to exist. And it's now it's fascinating to find. So basically that's why they were partially vertical because they're probably giving stability to the actual shoe back in the day. And then it just evolved into everyone recognize those brands. So in essence, we're talking about they acquired distinctiveness because they had a functional design, but then that they were the only ones that had that functional design. So they acquired distinctiveness probably by the 50s and 60s. And yeah, I mean, but you knew by the 70s, like, props out to the brand. By 70s, man, Adidas were everything because, for whatever reason, my parents had me playing tennis and stuff like that back in the day. And everyone wanted a pair of Adidas. Like I think Jimmy Connors wore them. That's a famous tennis player if you didn't know. Maybe McEnroe, John McEnroe. All that sort of like
Mhm.
everyone had them. So it's I would put them, what top two or three in athletic shoes and famous. Nike, I'm
Nike
still going
being
to
number
put Nike
one.
above in fame, just because they just happened to sign Mike Jordan and then just blow up. I mean, it was amazing. Under Armour sort of died recently. I haven't seen them around much, but Adidas is huge. Who are the other big athletic sportswear
I guess
shoes?
I think Puma's technically
Yeah,
one with
Puma's
I think
debate.
tennis
I think they're
and
baseball.
soccer.
Oh yeah, they're
Um,
soccer. Puma soccer.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
Nike's still the king. Oh, and then you had
yeah.
the brands
Mhm.
like New Balance and Asics. I mean, Asics for me running for New Balance or Asics and Asics, but Asics, these little suckers I'm wearing, man, they are light as a cloud. You put on a brand new
Mhm.
pair of these things, man, you feel like you can run forever. Then you realize you're 54.
But the shoes help with that.
And you're just like, oh, I don't want to do this. All right, but anyways, so again, so I'm not just trying to, I just we agree. It's again everything that we say on this here is opinions, and all that sort of stuff. I think they're overreaching with this one. I think they have a great famous brand, and you got to respect that they want to make sure that people don't encroach on the brand. From my personal opinion, I just think going after a horizontal rainbow design is just, it's just asking a little bit too much. I think it's really an overstep on the enforcement on this one, and it's a shame. But, you know, you know, y-
Yeah, we're both in
they've got the
agreement.
money and they want to do it. That's their right to do it. That's our justice system.
Right, right. So yeah, I think it's more so Adidas has the money to burn, and they have obviously we've talked about this in other podcasts. They have the lawyers, they have the legal
Yeah.
power to pretty much do whatever they want, and
And
I
their
guess you
lawyers
can
are good
compare
lawyers.
that.
Perkins Coie
Right,
and Kilpatrick Stockton are great law
right,
firms.
right. So lawyers are just like, hey, Adidas, there's this brand out there that has stripes. Oh, stripes? Oh, wait, yeah, yeah, I can't have that. So,
Well,
all right,
and
it's going to
going
be
back and just
five.
for a brief
Yeah, go ahead.
for a brief minute, taking the advocacy on the part of Adidas here, they had an agreement with this guy that he wouldn't do three stripes anymore. And then so So it's we're not just saying in a vacuum they're going after the rainbow. They're looking at this from a history perspective and they're saying, okay, well, he's not supposed to do three stripes. Now he's coming out with a brand that has five stripes, but three of them are really dominant. So, okay, on some level, I can be like, okay, I sort of get what they're saying. But then on a backup level, when you back up 50,000 feet and you look at the Adidas famous brand, and I think by the way, there's a component of trademark law. In essence, it's easier to enforce famous brands and all that sort of stuff. And clearly, in my opinion, they get the fame. I think they check that box. But the fame only extends to their actual real logo and not anything else. And when I look at that and you put, again, in your closing argument, I'm putting a picture up of all the Adidas shoes with the three stripes and stuff, and then I'm putting a picture up of a rainbow, and what does not equal the other? It just doesn't, in my opinion. So again, I think this is a little bit overreaching. Maybe they just went back to the well because they figured they could push the guy around. And the guy just dug his heels in. And unfortunately, a lot of times bravado can be a part of this. And, or like, because if I'm an attorney and, and we've all done this as attorneys, if I basically say, hey, you need to go after this guy or whatever, and thinking he's just going to lay down, and then suddenly you find yourself in a position where the dude didn't lay down, and you're sitting there with the client saying, well, you had to have gone after this guy, and maybe you were just trying to basically, drum up some business for yourself or whatever the case may be, and then suddenly next thing you know, you're in a big fight, and you're not even 100% sure if you should be in that fight, because you're just like, I thought this guy was going to lay down. And I have immeasurable amount of stories on that one, but we're 35 minutes into this or whatnot, or 30 minutes into this. So I'll tell stories another day, good old war stories, but they're good old war stories after being in the industry for 20 something years.
Right, right. Yeah, so we'll save that for another podcast. Everyone that's listening, we really appreciate you listen to another one of these. So thank you for taking your time out of your day to listen. Join us on our next week's podcast. We'll promise we'll keep it more Christmas oriented next time since it'll be a week away
Ho,
from
ho,
Christmas.
ho.
All right. So as always, this episode is sponsored by the Trademark Company. I always leave the link in the description over at www.thetrademarkcompany.com. So if you need any assistance filing a new trademark, starting maybe even an LLC or forming an LLC, we got you covered. So go ahead, reach on over to us. We can help you with that. And as always, thank you for listening and have a great rest of your day.